a secret lifestyle program that you can only join after signing a non-disclosure agreement that demands participants be accountable at all times, but is run by someone accountable to no one. A program that demands its participants eat only 500 calories a day, about a third of the calories prisoners in Auschwitz were getting. A program that seems to set up its participants for failure and dependency. Am I talking about a cult, dear reader? This is the story of Teddi Mellencamp's diet program, how it fosters eating disorders, how it exploits the vulnerable, how it potentially endangers lives, and how, oh my, it seems to be avoiding paying taxes. Cease and desist, please. I want you to sue me. Do it.
Where's my money, bitch?
For perfumery, stationery and leather goods, wigs and haberdashery, kitchenware and jewelry.
Teddi Mellencamp is the daughter of musician John Mellencamp, who, from what I can tell, is in no way part of this and has done nothing wrong. Well, maybe rough harvest. As a teenager, Teddi moved to Los Angeles to pursue a career in acting, or at least being famous. But by her own telling, she quickly put on weight and found that being over 200 pounds made her more or less uncastable. Never stopped Arnold. Anyway, after having her first child in 2011, Teddi decided to become accountable, which really means she thoroughly documented her subsequent weight loss on social media. How novel. The wealthy women in her social circle were impressed and wanted to know how she did it. So, Teddi decided to start a business as an accountability coach, teaching other women how to lose weight. As you'd guess, it seems there was some transition time between her being a solo coach and setting up a larger program. All In by Teddi emerged in the mid-2010s, but it really took off after she joined the cast of Real Housewives of Boopity Boos in 2017, a reality TV show that, depending on how you look at it, either celebrates the glamorous lifestyles of the rich and sort of famous, or deviously gives them plenty of rope to hang themselves with, laughing at them all the way. That's right, another one.
You can do it, and you are worth it. And as cheesy as it sounds, getting that one little text from me makes all the difference to somebody.
All In is a diet program that is operated almost entirely by text message. Participants aren't made aware of what the program actually entails until they've signed a non-disclosure agreement, and, critically, have paid. Now, I think it's worth saying that although participants willingly sign up, although they're not coerced, what makes it so much more egregious than some other diet plan is it is based on pseudoscience. It is run by people with no medical qualifications, and it is so medically negligent that it seems certain to cause participants long-term damage. Participants who have been told the exact opposite of those things. Once joining the program, participants receive a strict meal plan and exercise regimen, along with a coach who sends them text messages every day, usually multiple times a day, to keep them accountable.
You hired us to hold you accountable. It's not our fault if you want to fail.
Participants must weigh themselves daily and send photos of their scale to their coach. They must send photos of every meal, photos of themselves exercising, and occasionally photos of themselves in their underwear. The only way to begin is with the Jumpstart tier. For 2 weeks, $599, and keep that figure in mind for later. To keep you accountable and motivated, you can be dropped at any time, for cheating, for gaining weight, for really anything at all. No ifs, no buts, no refunds.
So, you remember this Tuesday, because come Thursday, if I see that tone to your coach, you're out.
Participants claim they were eating around 500 calories per day on the Jumpstart program, which prohibits meat, dairy, and alcohol. Mellencamp denies this, saying that they do not impose specific calorie restrictions. However, they do send very specific instructions on what you are allowed to eat for each meal, so the effect is really exactly the same. Here is a screenshot that one participant sent to online human Emily Gillis. 581 calories for the day. And again, this isn't imposed on participants. If you don't like it, no problem, you can leave. We'll just keep your money. What's that? You broke your leg 2 days into the program and obviously can't keep doing it? That's not being accountable, sucker. Pre-existing health condition, not accountable. Get out of my sight. I'll keep your money though, but only to teach you to take responsibility. It seems that a lot of people who've done this program and talked about it afterwards were pretty shocked by being put on what I would generously call a crash diet, but hoped that graduating to the next tier would see them eating more than your average 25-pound French bulldog. Yes, really. In fact, people following the Jumpstart program were eating the same amount of calories as is recommended for larger, active cats. Cats! If you get through the 2 weeks of eating the same calories and way less protein than a cat, you can move on to paying $439 a month to receive text messages, quote, designed to continue the full accountability you crave but with a slightly more relaxed menu. According to participants who risk the Mellencamp wrath by breaching their NDAs, graduating to this more relaxed menu means you can add either 2 egg whites or 4 ounces of chicken or fish each day, and 2 alcoholic drinks per week. All meals must be consumed within very specific time windows. Again, we're looking at around 500 to 600 calories per day. Do at least 6 weeks of that and the Jumpstart program, and you can get on the weight and workout tier for only $165 a month. Daily check-in of weight and cardio is what's required. Yay! Not only would this level of calorie intake be incredibly dangerous on its own, All In demands participants spend up to an hour a day working out, specifically cardio, never strength training, to the point where you could burn off all the calories you've sucked through a tea strainer that day.
It's night. We're going night-night. We're going night-night. No, we're not having a chip, by the way.
Put that chip down.
Registered dietitians and doctors have made the danger of this clear. An article in the Daily Beast, which interviewed former participants, spoke to registered dietitian and CEO of NY Nutrition Group, Lisa Moskovitz, who said that this level of extreme calorie restriction can lead to major problems, like nutrient deficiency, energy deterioration, mood disorders, bone loss, and gallstones. Extreme weight loss diets, especially like All-Ins, are inherently disordered eating, said Moskovitz. There's weight obsessions, eating rules, and an overall obsession or fixation with losing weight. Truly, there is no difference between that and the definition of disordered eating. It's no great scientific revelation, as Moskovitz says, that unless under close medical supervision, nobody under the age of 2 should be eating less than 1,200 calories a day. Maybe if Teddi Mellencamp was a dietitian, or if she had any meaningful credentials at all, she'd know that. Maybe she does, and doesn't care. As you'd guess, people who sign up to this usually don't initially realize the program is centered around starvation. There's something to be said about exploiting the sunk cost fallacy here. I can only imagine paying $600, realizing what you've signed up for, but feeling obliged to follow through, because you're in it now and that money is not coming back. What do Teddi and friends tell their clients when they're begging to be allowed to eat something, anything extra than this? They tell them to fill up on good old laxative tea, a hallmark of eating disorders and incredibly dangerous to consume regularly when you're already not eating anywhere near enough. And I don't just mean dangerous for your bloomers. There's a plethora of horrific information out there about people who use laxatives long term for weight loss, having to have parts of their intestines removed, developing osteoporosis at a preposterously young age, experiencing kidney failure and irreparable liver damage, and, yes, dying.
So much more craziness to come.
Teddi describes herself as an AFPA, that's American Fitness Professionals Association, certified health and wellness consultant, a certification that you can get by taking an online course that the AFPA itself says can be completed in 4 months of studying for 7 to 10 hours per week. What do you reckon? Do you think you could do it in a day? I bet you could, so long as you meet the 3 stringent entry requirements. 1. You must be over 18. 2. You must pay $750. 3. That's it. There's only 2. Registered dietitian Abby Langer called Teddi's AFPA print your own certificate a fucking wackadoo credential that means absolutely nothing. Although Langer's really being generous there. People only get worthless credentials like that if they've been duped or if they intend on selling snake oil. If you look at the way All In and Mellencamp herself treat clients and try to fly under the radar, I think it's pretty apparent that they know exactly what they're doing. So many of the people who've been through this bullshit talk about how belligerent and controlling their coaches were. Here's Teddi herself texting someone at 6:41 in the morning, demanding a picture of their scale. I hope she has a bot to write this shit, Jesus. Ex-client Erica Houlihan told Insider.com about her experience, where Mellencamp personally was her coach. She says that after 2 weeks on the program, she became obsessed with not getting kicked out of it for cheating, even though she was incredibly unhappy, and her husband said that he had never seen her so belligerent ever before. She describes going to a wedding where Mellencamp was texting her incessantly, asking for photos of everything she ate, texting her at 5 a.m. 5 a.m. to make sure she was awake to go running before the event, and only allowing her to eat a few pieces of broccoli at the wedding. In the same article, Stephanie Langlitz talks about the coaches deliberately using anxiety to control clients, punishing participants by making them skip meals, and texting them endlessly. Who knows how many people relapsed into eating disorders they thought they were over? Who knows how many people developed a dangerous relationship with food after this abuse? It almost feels as though a high rate of failure was deliberately built in to keep people coming back. Because when you starve yourself, you damage your metabolism in such a way that it's much more likely you're going to put on weight in the future. I certainly would go so far as to say that the program deliberately targets people with mental health problems, a la anorexia and orthorexia. Clients describe obsessing over body weight and measurements and being encouraged to obsess. You know, like being made to check the scale every day. Obsessing over appearance and being encouraged to obsess over appearance. You know, like being made to take pictures of your body to send to coaches for them to assess you. Obsessing over calories, fat, carbohydrates, and so on. Obsessing with cutting out whole food groups. Being encouraged to practice food rituals, strict timeframes to eat, and rigorously recording every meal down to the gram. Skipping meals as punishment. Obsessing and being encouraged to obsess over the purity of food, even though the idea of detox is medically meaningless. All of those things are pretty major symptoms of eating disorders.
I can't be expected to be the moral compass for everybody all the time.
You're not.
All In is led by someone who presents themselves as a sort of guru. She has a made-up title. She sets strict rules and demands obedience, but doesn't follow them herself.
I did nothing wrong. I am an honest person. Never once have I told a lie, and never will you ever hear me tell one.
How many weeks of her alcohol ration did Teddi drink here? The guru displays clear symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder. The lieutenants of the organization oscillate between love bombing and abuse. All In seeks to change the behavior of participants in a pretty extreme way. Arbitrary contracts and codes are used to further reinforce compliance. Secrecy, denunciation of detractors, systems of confession and punishment. All In members are encouraged to confess when they do not follow the plan, and are punished by being told to skip meals that are already dangerously low calorie, or do additional exercise sessions. All In tries to monopolize information. Details about the plan are not revealed until after you've paid. The coaches are described as hand-picked by Teddi, but no other information is provided about how they are chosen, except that they must have gone through the program themselves. Over time, victims are encouraged to accept information only from the organization itself, and dismiss or attack information that comes from people outside of the organization. Mellencamp says that people who have been through the program are almost 100% satisfied with the experience, but anonymous former members say their complaints were ignored and immediately deleted from her social media accounts. And of course, All In targets people looking for community, looking to fix their lives, looking to be better somehow. People who are desperate, alone, or else feel as though they're somehow not good enough. All of those things I just described fall well into the definition of a cult. Now, I don't think All In is a cult, but I do think All In uses exactly the same tactics as a cult. I think it's especially interesting that many cults use calorie and specifically protein deprivation to crush their members into submission. They do it despite the clear health problems, despite it being a clear road to an eating disorder, malnutrition, and I suppose, ultimately, a heart attack.
I'm so hungry.
Truly, Teddi herself has an eating disorder, it seems, and I pity her for that. But that doesn't mean she should pass that on to others. Doing so is yet another symptom of a malignant narcissist. Maybe, let's just say, she and her underlings really believe starving yourself somehow makes you more accountable. That doesn't mean they can break the law. In the United States, it's illegal to prescribe a diet plan if you're not a registered dietitian or a doctor. You know, someone with an actual fucking degree. All In says that they don't do that, and that they don't provide meal plans. I don't know what you could call all of this then. A fantasy shopping list for a hungry gerbil? And it also doesn't mean you don't have to pay your taxes. And I'm not saying Teddi isn't paying her taxes, just that I'd bet shillings to shills that she isn't paying her taxes. Not all of them. Re-enter that magic number, 599. Payments for the program are accepted only through PayPal or Venmo. PayPal has a little rule in its terms and conditions. If you receive $600 or more from a client in a 12-month period, you have to declare it to the IRS. Could it be, maybe, possibly, the 599 figure is an attempt to evade that? Well, that wouldn't make much sense, would it? Teddi and All In would still have to pay taxes on total payments through PayPal over $20,000. And if what she says is true, and at least 15,000 people have been through the program, she's made at least $6 million in the last 5 or 6 years. The 599 figure wouldn't seem so important if Mellencamp wasn't telling her clients to send her money on PayPal and Venmo specifically as friends and family payments. You know, the thing you select when you're giving money to a friend or family member, not paying for a business service. The clue is in the name. By sending through friends and family, if you're using a personal bank account, PayPal's business fees don't automatically apply. So I don't know if All In and Tedders are avoiding taxes, but unless the iPhone fairy has been at work, she's definitely breaking PayPal's terms and conditions. And really, I can't say she's evading taxes, but I can say it very, very much looks like that. Also, when you send someone money on one of these pay sites, you can't claim any sort of refund when you choose the friends and family option. When businesses ask people to do this, PayPal itself calls this a massive red flag. It's the sort of thing you'd expect from a cowboy operation, not something making $1 million+ a year. All In isn't just taking people's money for a product that they're not qualified to sell, and really seems as though they're misselling. They're not just potentially lying to the IRS. They're selling something that is extremely dangerous to the health of their clients as something that's good. They might as well be telling people asbestos cigarettes repair lungs. Now, I don't know what's going to happen to Teddi or All In. There's more pushback against her all the time, but in the United States the diet industry is very poorly regulated. If they get her, it'll probably be on her taxes, which is a bit of a shame because the actual content of her program is utterly despicable. As well as being dangerous and abusive, according to Teddi, it's meant to be about empowering women, about making people be accountable, about taking responsibility. But then it's all about being thin. That sort of blatant contradiction might not be illegal, but it's certainly contemptuous. Want to be a better person? Read a book, help a friend, be a mensch. Nah, just be thin. Well, thank you very much for watching. I fucking despair. If you want to watch these videos a week early, you can do so by becoming a $5 patron. Goodbye. Where I am, it's 8 AM, so I'm off to Burger King. Have a good one.
If somebody does something to intentionally hurt you and then lies to you about it, there's only one way to take it.